Hello, everybody. Welcome to the dark side with Gigi and Feed.
So today we're going to be speaking about a apparently well-known case within the Star Stable community. It might not be well known. There's been a few other videos talking about it, which we can always link below. We're not going to get too much into the case because
Yeah.
we feel like already a lot of videos out there that explain it really well in depth. And there's also a document about it written by a Swedish charity called the World Child Foundation. And we'll link that PDF also in the description in case you wanted to read more into it,
Yes. And
type
as
thing.
well,
So yeah.
there are some triggering words used in this video as pedophiles, children doing things for exchange for other things, talk about the black market,
Yeah.
and many more. So please be prepared. This is about children, so it is quite a sensitive topic.
But also it's like we're gonna post more videos, so if this isn't for you, you can always come back for another one where we'll probably be mostly gossiping because obviously this is the first I've heard of this. There could be other things that are out there that we could speak about. But for now, like this is probably gonna be our most important video and I think it's important for it to be our first video as well.
Yes, and at the end, we are talking
So
about our own experience with how dark the online community can be, even with us that are adults being fooled. So, yeah,
yeah.
let's jump right into it, Gigi.
Okay. So I obviously mentioned the World Child Foundation earlier, and they work to prevent violence and sexual abuse against children in Sweden. And as you should know, if you're a Star Stable player, that is where Star Stable Online is based. And this case is actually known as the Star Stable case. And as I mentioned before, I had not heard of it at all. Like, Feet, when did you discover this case?
I think I was on my bed scrolling through YouTube and I saw a popular TikToker talking about it. And not TikToker,
Yeah.
YouTuber. I think that was over a month ago, and they had so many receipts. And I will as well be mentioning some stuff I heard in that video, but that is, of course, not coming from my mouth. That is just what I heard in that video. But I will see if I can find the video. If I can't, I'm sorry. Just link the person down below.
Yeah. We'll creators' videos in the description in case you wanted to check them out because obviously we're not really going to be going too much into this case, but you know, I said that previously, but I thought I'd say it again.
Yeah.
But to sum up the case, in April 2020, a Swedish man was sentenced to prison after sexually abusing 83 children through SSO. 50
83.
of those children were under the 83 children, yeah.
Oh
And
my,
50 of those children were under the age of 10.
that's disgusting.
And I know that might not seem a lot to some people considering how many people are on SSO, but that is a lot of children for one person to manipulate and abuse, and it's just disgusting. It is so disgusting. Um, so obviously I'm not sure. Feet has done some research, but I'm not sure what Star Stable are doing after the case to prevent it from happening again. But from what I can see, there's not they're not doing enough. Like, but at that point especially, they were not doing enough, as predators can contact hundreds of children through social media and online games without even being detected or flagged. If predators are able to do this, then surely online games and social media platforms could come up with ways to protect their younger audiences and players. And as I mentioned before, if you want to read more about this, the link to the document will be in the description. Sophie, you did some research on what Star Stable do or are doing to prevent this from happening again or preventing it from in general.
Okay, so what I could see, I'm obviously summarizing this, I'm not quoting it directly, but what I could see is they have guidelines to help the parents to guide them through the online, like the online of games and how to protect them. But that's once again, if the parents are even going to get that. then they have added a in-game report system, where they can report anyone from to cheating to inappropriate behavior. You can block someone in the game. It will not give them a notification of you blocking them. You will just simply disappear like you were never there. But I have a conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy theory. I feel as if the big ban of cheaters was caused by this. Because the guy was selling.
He was giving them cheap in exchange for their nudes, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he? Right?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, it was.
So yeah, but it's I think it's not just, obviously it's mainly the game that need to do things about it, but also parents, I think, should be not supervising their children so much as when they play, but also because this was the actual sexual abuse that was happening was done through online social media platforms, and I feel like things could have been prevented if parents were monitoring what their children were doing online. Personally, from my point of view, I'm not going to blame the victim here. I'm not going to fully blame the parents. Obviously, Star Stable have a lot to do with this, considering they could have done something to prevent the predators even approaching them in the first place, as it was done through Star Stable. But I also think that parents should have been monitoring kind of what their children were doing, and it could have been prevented. But obviously, I'm not going to fully blame them for what happened.
No, I agree with you there, 100%. But then again, isn't the parents' view on this game just a horse game? Once again, it's a horse game for kids. Where are the red flags? Where are the warnings? Yes, there is guidelines to parentals and how to guide them, but where's the warnings? Where's the notifications to the parents to say hey, this has happened. We are busy. We are making the place safer by doing this and this and this. I don't think I have seen Star Stable actually bring an actual report on this case, since the case is called the Star Stable case. How ironic. But I haven't really seen them on social media saying, hey, we are dealing with this. We have dealt with it. I'm glad the man is behind bars, but once again, this is a child game. And it's a horse game. Why would you suspect anything? Yes, of course, the communicating out of the Star Stable is not really Star Stable's fault, but in a way, Star Stable should have prevented that. So I do agree with you definitely there. The parents should be aware of the dangers of online, but once again, it's can be, in many parents' view, it's just a horse game, you know?
Yeah. Also, it's I think parents have this assumption that it's a kid's game, nothing's going to happen.
No, I agree definitely there with you.
Because it's before I heard about this case, I was thinking, yeah, I'd let my kids play Star Stable and no, I wouldn't watch what they were doing.
Yes.
But then after this case, it's also made me think not even about just what's happened here about this case, but also stuff that actually happens in game that isn't flagged up. And I'm talking about how toxic, for example, global can be. Because there are things that you can say in the chat that aren't flagged. For example, obviously, different regions have different slang for things. For I can literally, so in the UK, I don't know about other parts of the world, but fanny means vagina, is slang for vagina. You can actually type that into Star Stable and it won't get flagged. You won't get that little pop-up message that says this is banned from, you can't say that word. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know what I've seen? I was talking to my one friend, right? She said hey, look what I can say in chat. I was like, oh, okay. She sent it to me privately in friend. You can say suck it or suck off in Star Stable chat.
Yeah, that's not right. Considering there are things that you can't say that genuinely aren't a big deal, I feel like that's actually quite a big thing, especially if, there are predators on this game. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, definitely.
Like, I think they kind maybe they should go over, like, what is banned from the chat and what isn't, because I feel like there's too much slang. Like, I think you can easily, like, search up inappropriate terms in countries and then just ban all of that.
Yes, because
Like, you could literally just
in my
say
language, which is Afrikaans, right? You can say the
yeah,
most vilest word in Afrikaans in Startable. If you're Afrikaans,
that's
the P word, it's the most. If you say that word in to parents, even if you're fully grown adults, people can look at you weird. It's the most vile word there is if you use it against someone, and it means as well. Once again, fanny. You know what I mean? It means that, but in the most disturbing, and it's like a swear word. It's really bad.
I just think it's really wrong. And then going back to what I said, would I let my children play Star Stable? I'd say to a point, yes, but would I want them to interact with people? No. And I think that's really sad considering I've had a lot of good memories on that game.
Yeah.
But I trust some on there. Like, if I were to have a child, I trust some people on there to be okay. And I know a lot of players are okay, but then there's that niche group where I'm like, I don't think so. And I just don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
No, I agree. Definitely there with you.
Yeah, 100%. Right, shall we get into our own experience?
Yes, you may. So we're not
Let's
we're not mentioning any real
so
names. All these names are made up. So don't, if you know someone called that, they did not do that. It's just, and if you do know who
yeah.
this is, please don't attack
And
them.
also
Yeah.
it's also their names are very different to what they really are. So as Pete said, don't attack anyone, even if you know who they are. I mean, people have free will, but I'd advise like kind of not to get involved because these situations have been dealt with in
Yes.
what I would say an appropriate manner. So
Yes.
that's just my opinion. So yes. Um so I also want to say some things maybe what's the word? Things that I feel like aren't accurate, I've left out because obviously this took place last year.
Yes.
Um, but also things I may believe are certain may not be like
A hundred
to the
percent
100%
certain.
mark
Yeah.
because obviously this happened last year, and me and Feet have tried really hard to block this out because it was just, you know,
Traumatic and
not a
something to
nice
deal
thing to
with.
deal with. Was it even last year?
Girl, I don't know. It really
I know
was long
it's a
time
big
ago.
thing. No, it was last year. It was last year. Okay. So we were in a club, which we both became the leaders of.
Yes.
And obviously, Feet and I are over 18. We were over 18 by this point.
Mm-hmm.
As leaders, we felt we had a need to protect the young players as well as help them with anything. For example, if they wanted to vent about things that are happening in their life, like especially if they're kids and young teenagers, like they feel like the world is against them. We
Yeah.
want to say, like, look, normal, these feelings are valid. Like, I remember feeling like that when I was young, but you could do this, this, and this to help yourself deal with it. And, we wanted to be like the big sisters of the club or even the mums of the club. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't know if you agree, Feet,
No,
but
a
that's
hundred
the way
percent.
I saw it.
Because my mentality when joining any club,
So
it's like a family.
100%. And it's also like, you don't know what these kids are going through at home. I feel like
Mm.
maybe they don't have the perfect models around them. I feel like, as I said, I want to be able to be a good role model for them. I don't know. That's just what I
Yes.
think. I'm saying a lot of I don't know, but it's quite an uncomfortable situation. But I feel like it does need to be spoken about because although Star State has all of these bright and lovely colours, it's not a perfect game, and
No.
as most of you know, and it's perfect player base, and I'll say that till the cows come home.
So this is on editing. Um, we both realized that our part 2 of how we were deceived, even as adults, by someone who was lying about their identity or who we think they were lying about their identity. So there is going to be a part 2 posted, so stay tuned, put your notifications on and subscribe.